First, there was Starship Troopers by Robert A. Heinlein, 1959. Heinlein was a vet from World War II. Then there was The Forever War by Joe Haldeman, 1974. Haldeman was a vet from the Vietnam War. And today we're going to take a look at Forever Peace by Joe Haldeman, 1997. Starship Troopers and The Forever War both featured soldiers in spacesuits, armored spacesuits, fighting battles. Forever Peace is down on Earth. No need for a spacesuit. And the powered armored soldiers are jacked in. They are not actually inside the powered armored suits. First off, let's talk about whether Forever Peace is a sequel to The Forever War. The short answer is no. Joe Haldeman makes this clear in the beginning of the book. Right before the novel itself starts, we have a page here that says, Caveat Lector. This book is not a continuation of my 1975 novel, The Forever War. From the author's point of view, it is a kind of sequel, though, examining some of that novel's problems from an angle that didn't exist 20 years ago. Prior to that Caveat Lector, we have a dedication to two editors. This novel is for two editors, John W. Campbell, who rejected the story because he thought it was absurd to write about American women who fight and die in combat, and Ben Bova, who didn't. What I find interesting about that quote is right here on the cover, you'll see winner of the John W. Campbell Award. I'm not sure if that would have been too popular with some of the Campbell fans. And then there is a beginning quote as well from Martin Luther King Jr. Man was born into barbarism, when killing his fellow man was a normal condition of existence. He became endowed with a conscience, and he has now reached the day when violence toward another human being must become as abhorrent as eating another's flesh. So from these pages before the novel even begins, we can tell that there's a thematic link here, thus the titles which share the word forever. And that thematic link, if we look at the quote from Martin Luther King Jr., is about the abhorrence of war. The novel begins with an action sequence in the jungle. We're along for the ride with Soldier Boys, a squad of robots. Hundreds of miles away, their human soldiers are jacked in and controlling these robots. We see them fighting some locals and making some difficult choices. They're fighting guerrillas called the Negumi. An atomic weapon was used on Atlanta and was attributed to the Negumi. In retaliation, the United States dropped 2 nuclear bombs on cities in South America. Guerrillas from South Africa have joined in the fight with those from South America and Central America. The United States is in a perpetual war. Throughout the novel, any sequences of fighting is very graphic. We witness the horrors of war, and then the squad is jacked out. They're relieved, and another squad moves in and takes over those robots. While the squad members are off duty, they can fly anywhere they would like to. Most return to home in the United States. Julian returns to Texas, where we discover that he is also a prof in university. He has a love interest in Amelia, an older prof who taught him. This is a novel that has 3 distinct storylines going on that come together. We have the story of the telepathic connection that the soldiers have as they fight in the robots. They are of a hive mind, joined together, individual, yet corporate. Then we have the story of Amelia and Julian. They're connected to a scientific experiment that's being performed out near Jupiter. This experiment, even though far from Earth, may be dangerous. Dangerous not only to Earth, but the entire universe. And then we have the story of the science and the operation that can connect minds. Minds together, minds to machines. There's about a 10% failure rate to this operation. We meet a commune of people in North Dakota who have lived together, jacked together, for years. Their corporate mind may be a pacifistic answer to war. So we have these 3 threads coming together in this story. The threat to the existence of the entire universe. The United States embroiled in what seems like a permanent war. And people living together in a hive mind in a pacifistic state. The novel has many action sequences, and we do have some interesting characters acting as assassins in here. One in particular is almost a Terminator-type assassin. The characters are well drawn, and there are some compelling storylines about these characters as well, and I think the ending is earned. To summarize, we have military SF action, a scientific threat to the universe, and an interesting idea of minds jacked together, creating a utopia of sorts. Perhaps a forever peace. Way back at the beginning of this channel, I reviewed The Forever War. It was one of my rare 10 out of 10s. I felt like it was a classic in the genre. A great companion piece, or perhaps even argument, to Starship Troopers. As Haldeman says at the beginning of the book, Forever Peace does continue that thematic thread. The angle that he has added here is a cyberpunk type angle, a jacking in to the machines themselves, and a sharing of minds. While this novel has also won the Hugo and Nebula Awards and the John W. Campbell Memorial Award, I don't think it quite measures up to the brilliance of The Forever War. It has a gritty, popular style of writing. It's a bit looser in structure than The Forever War. But these are minor complaints. I give Forever Peace 8.5 out of 10. Now I just want to add a caveat of my own, just for the reader to understand that if this was a movie, this would be an R-rated movie. So have you read Forever Peace? What are your thoughts? Are you a fan of Joe Haldeman? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, keep reading.